Let's talk about the Philippines. Former President Rodrigo Duterte has been brought to The Hague by the International Criminal Court. He faces charges of crimes against humanity. In this episode of In Depth, we decode three key questions. Is Duterte's arrest being used as a political tool? Does the arrest show action or inaction on the ICC's part? And what about the arrests against Putin and Netanyahu? I'm Ananya Dutta. Let's get some answers. The International Criminal Court has 125 countries as its members. It has jurisdiction across these countries over four types of crimes. First, crimes against humanity. Second, genocide. Third, crimes of aggression. And fourth, war crimes. It steps in when countries are unwilling to prosecute themselves. But it's not that simple. I'll come to that in a bit. Let's look at Duterte's case right now.
For detention and the basis for detention. So, what is the law and what is the crime that I committed?
The ICC has been probing the former president since 2017. He has been accused of committing crimes against humanity in the name of curbing drug dealers. Here are three instances which will give you a sense of what the ICC is looking into. Rodrigo Duterte built his reputation as the quote-unquote punisher while he was the mayor of Davao for more than 20 years. During this on and off tenure, more than 1,000 people were killed, including suspected drug users and dealers.
If you destroy my country, I will kill you. Make no doubt about it. If you destroy the generation of Filipinos coming up to replace us, I will kill you. Simple as that.
His pledge to launch a nationwide crackdown on drug gangs became the feature of his successful presidential campaign in 2016. On his first full day, at least 12 people were killed, ushering in a bloody campaign for the next 6 years. In one of his statements as the president, Duterte said he doesn't care about human rights and issued a shoot-to-kill order against drug dealers.
If you raise the flag of ISIS, that was the time I said, this cannot be done. It has to be stopped. And I'm willing to gamble with Marcelo.
By the end of his term in 2022, the police claimed they had executed 7,000 people. The rights groups put the figure at 30,000. Many of these victims were dumped in garbage sites and open fields. The security personnel were offered immunity from prosecution. An Amnesty International report found that police officers confessed to receiving reward money for every drug suspect they killed.
My order to them was that if they are holding a gun, kill them immediately so there will be one less criminal.
Throughout his presidency, Duterte enjoyed a high approval rating from the public, allowing him to push for his brutal anti-drug war agenda. But his arrest has provoked mixed reactions.
I think it was a right action because for people who were claiming for justice, for the deaths of their children, to get peace and happiness for those who were killed. Dragging him outside the country is good as being imprisoned already. His rights were removed, no matter which sin he has committed. He shouldn't have been brought away like that. He should have stayed in the country. We have our courts to decide on the case.
Whether right or wrong, let's leave that for the courts to decide. We want to talk about the politics behind it. Remember, earlier I had said that the ICC has jurisdiction over 125 of its members. Well, that's only on paper. Duterte's arrest was possible not because of this jurisdiction. It was possible because of a narrow set of circumstances that allowed ICC to act. You see, the court cannot carry out arrests on its own. It leaves it at the mercy of the official government. And who's in power in Manila right now? This man, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., who has made no qualms about his hatred towards Duterte. The arrest has an uncanny timing. It's an election year in the Philippines and two major political families have had a public fallout. Interestingly, Duterte's daughter, Sara Duterte, is the current vice president, and there is an impeachment process ongoing against her. The political rivalry has reached heights unimaginable. At one point, the vice president said, and I'm quoting, she wants to cut Marco's head off and threatened to dig up his dead father's body and throw it into the ocean. Sara Duterte has now flown to The Hague to assist her father.
There is no legal basis at all to turn over or to endorse the president, the former president, to ICC. So, wala silang...
If they're looking for justice, there's no justice here.
So while the ICC is lauding its arrest as significant, the truth is that it goes to show how limited the international body's powers are. In practice, the court has little to no ability to go after its suspects, unless it has all pieces in a specific order, like in Philippines right now. There were two other world leaders the ICC had issued arrest warrants against in the past 1 year. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was accused of war crimes in Gaza on November 21st last year. And Russian President Vladimir Putin was accused of war crimes in Ukraine on March 17, 2023. Why hasn't the ICC been able to move against them? The answer is simple: the ICC's hands are tied. And this is the case in most high-profile arrests warrants. It's just optics at the end of the day. Rodrigo Duterte's arrest may seem like a big win for the ICC, but it only exposes the court's weakness. His detention was driven by Philippines politics, not ICC's power. So it acts when the political landscape allows it. But against world leaders like Russia, the US, China or Israel, it becomes a toothless entity.
What the changes in India's population and the differential growth rates.
This city has emerged.
We have a very special guest on the record.
The interview.
The role that the US side played at that point of time.
पूरी दुनिया की नजर
Assume my phone is tapped, I can probably say hello to Mr. Modi.
आपके भारत पर है.
Episode of Know Your Candidate.
The rising confidence of India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Communist China is the greatest threat.
There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremists.
I'm still a little perplexed by why we...
Your daily dose of news from India and across the world. Cutting-edge views and analysis. Tune into HT videos. Click on the bell icon to subscribe.